Alright, good morning. Here we go. Another project. Today is the alternator upgrade for this thing. Alright, so why upgrade the alternator? Alternator? Whatever. Anyway, why upgrade it? Well, I plan to add a fuel pump. I already added in a different stereo head unit. I plan to do a link ECU, upgraded R35 coils. All of these things are gonna need to draw more power. The stock alternator only puts out 90 amps, which is nothing, right? You start changing all these things, the current draw, sometimes the motor, the alternator cannot handle it. So the correct thing to do, get a high output alternator. Now the alternator for this car, if you try to buy a new alternator, I guess, from Japan, with shipping, tariffs, all that, it's gonna run about $500 versus grabbing an LS alternator kit. I think it was about $100 something just for the kit itself. And then you can go to any O'Reilly's, AutoZone, whatever. You can get an alternator kit for an LS for only $150 or so. So it's a no-brainer. Cheap, easily accessible alternator. And it puts out 120, 130 amps or something like that, which is more than enough power to do the whole car, to give power to the whole car. I will need to do a big 3 upgrade. You don't need to, but I want to. It's the smart thing to do. I'll show you what all that looks like. I ordered a kit from Amazon. It should be here this Saturday. So today, all I'm gonna do, get the alternator out, do the conversion, show you guys what. This is not necessarily a how-to, but this is going to be what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, all the problems that I occur throughout this process. Starting off my problems, goddamn Amazon delivered the box with it damaged. Yep, they delivered the box smashed and opened. But whatever, it is what it is. It's super windy out here today. I'm gonna go in the garage, talk to you guys in there. So take this in the garage, I'll be right back. All right, so first thing, I don't know if you guys can see in here, hopefully the lighting is well enough. Yes, the box did come from Amazon, damaged, broken, and this is how it came to me, exactly in this condition. The box was smashed open. So this is the condition that I got the box. It actually came to me in this torn up condition. Here's the GM alternator. I'll get you guys the part number for this in a minute. So I got this from Amazon. I don't know if you can see. It did come with this sheet that shows that they did test it. It is putting out the correct amps. It is putting out whatever voltage and current. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's the alternator. Let me see what I have for the bracket kit. Okay, this is the bracket kit. The bracket kit came from Raw Brokerage, RAW Brokerage. I think they're in Australia. So let me see what this has. All right. So you got a new pulley. I need to change the pulley on the alternator. It comes with the bracket and all the hardware. Now for the RB26, it's a little different bracket. PRP sells a whole different anodized, nice, beautiful looking one. But PRP's kit is about $300. Raw Brokerage, I think this is only about $100 something. It looks like billet aluminum for the bracket. It does have their names. Well, it has some kind of name, CWC, on it. I think Raw Brokerage sells CWC products, which is what this is. So the first thing to do is to get the pulley off of the original alternator, and I'll show you what that is. Let's see, the first thing, I'll show you guys the part number. I don't know if this is the correct part number, but this is the part number that was on the alternator. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rib, I guess, peak or whatever. We need to change it. So it's only a 24 millimeter. nut that holds this on. You may be able to just whack it off with a socket. I do have my impact, so I might as well use it. That was super easy. Just comes off. Okay, but the new kit, so we're changing it to a 4 peak, a PK4. I did get a new belt. I have a bunch of different belts. PK, a 4 PK 890. I think I have an 850 and an 860 just in case. I don't know if you can see, but it is a precision fit. There's no keyway, there's no lug nuts or whatever. There's nothing to align this, so it must be a press fit type. Oh, it does fit on here. In previous kits, I think they had to stick it in the oven to heat this up. This must be a new generation where it does fit perfectly. The fatter side goes down. Nut goes back on. I am going to put a little Loctite on it just because I can. I'm just going to put a little blue Loctite on there. I don't know what the torque specs are, so we'll just go nice and tight. Okay, so that takes care of that part. The kit comes with CWC's bracket with their embroidering on it. Let's see what we have for all the hardware. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be for the grounding strap in the back, along with the 2 washers, the lock washer and the regular washer. But I'm not going to use these. I don't want to use the Allen. I would rather just use the stock 10mm bolts that are on the car, so I'm just going to toss this. This is going to be for the bottom bracket bolt, which is going to be here. Lock washer, flat washer. That goes like that. Lock washer, flat washer, and this goes for the top bracket piece. I'll show you guys all of this in real time when I assemble everything. The fat section is going to be for the adjustment on the factory side. And I believe these are supposed to be for, oh here, this one. But like I said, it's better to use the factory wing lock nut, so we'll change that at the pertinent time. This is going to be to help you, well, this nut is to help extend back here. And that's going to lock the power wire on the alternator. The connector is exactly the same as the Nissan and all the RB systems. Alright, so now the next thing to do is to get the stock alternator out of there. And while I am trying to get the stock alternator out, I'll put you guys on time lapse. Sorry, the sun went down. I'm gonna get rid of the stock radiator hoses. It's about time to change the radiator hoses, and it's going to be easier to film with the hoses off. 3 years ago, I did buy this. I think I got this from Just Jap Racing. Silicone radiator hoses, so we'll put that in. Let me drain the radiator, take the hoses off, pull out all the brackets and everything for the alternator. Oh, we are gonna leave one thing on. Let me show you. Now, from the research I've been doing, we need to leave this stock bracket here. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, stock bracket needs to remain here. The adjuster will be transferred over, and the bottom bolt way on the bottom will be reused in the kit also. I'm gonna change the radiator hoses. I'll pull the hoses off so you can see. I also want to do the big 3 upgrade, like I said, so I'm gonna change the main power wire on the alternator, which is this, I believe. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change the grounding strap from the battery to the chassis, and from the alternator to the chassis. So I'm gonna change all of that. Anyway, meantime, I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse, pull this thing out, cut open the wire loom, and figure out which wire goes where, just for my own sanity. Yeah, so that's the plan. Time lapse. I'll be right back. So now that the radiator hose is off, next thing to do is, just to make things easier to view and tape and film or whatever, I'll remove the fan. I'll remove the fan shroud. That will be easier so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. I'll do that now. Time lapse. Now that the fan shroud is out and the fan is out, I can start removing. First thing I'm going to do is remove the alternator adjuster and the belt and all the electricals in back. Almost forgot to take off the positive from the battery. Would have had a bad day. All right, all the connections are off. The only thing left to do, pull that alternator out. So let me do that. Okay, there we go. Alternator is out, and I'm also out of time. So I need to go to work. I will see you guys this Sunday. We'll pick this up on Sunday. I'll show you the difference between the two and where all the bolts go. See you guys Sunday. Okay, good morning. It's Sunday. Now to pick up where I left off. Yesterday, some parts did come in for that big 3 upgrade that I'm gonna do. I'll show you guys the whole rundown with the alternator thing. I'm just waiting for some wires that was supposed to have come in from Amazon. Only the connectors, lug nuts, and the crimping tool came in. I did clean up the engine bay just a little, and I'm just gonna get ready for that big 3 thing where it connects the one wire connects from the positive to the battery to the back of the alternator, and the ground that goes from the engine to the chassis, then the chassis to the battery. Now time to get back into the garage and go over the alternator thing. So let me do that. Okay, so here's what I got. This was the stock alternator. It's still good, so I'm gonna keep this thing. On the bottom bracket it had this spacer, but the distance between here and here should be exactly what this distance is, and it will bolt up to the frame right here. I did measure it. It is 1/4 of an inch off. I don't know if the offset from the new pulley is gonna make up the difference from that, but we'll see. Anyway, let's see. Lock washer, flat washer goes back here. It's going to mount from the back, and then the CWC bracket is supposed to go up front here, and then from what I understand, this is the factory bracket, tensioning bracket, I guess, whatever. This is supposed to go back here. like that. See, there you go. All right. Oh, and the stock, I'm gonna end up using the stock bolt for the back of this one. And the only reason I'm going to use the factory bolt is because the factory bolt has that little retainer that goes back here. So let me throw this in the car real fast, and we'll see what it looks like. So it's going in pretty smooth. I just want to show you guys something that I decided to do, and this is just out of my own thinking, of course, right? So let me show you. Now this is the back of the alternator. I took that screw off, and this is, I guess, that little retainer thing. Now it was keyed and slotted in the back, and I grinded down the little tabs in order to, and because there's this little notch here, right? That's for the positive side. I grinded it, ground it down, spun it, and putting it there like that. What that's going to allow me to do is now screw this guy the correct way, or any way that I choose to, like this. See? Just like that. I may take this nut off, and the reason I'm going to take that nut off is because I'm going to put an extension, not an extension, but I'm going to put another ground wire. I'm going to put another power wire onto this, which is going to connect the battery, and that's for the big 3. So you know what, let me go and measure that up and do that real quick. So as you saw, I'm going to make that little extension that goes from the back of the alternator, the power hot side, over to the battery. And this is what I'm going to use. This is from Amazon. All it is a bunch of connectors. And I'm gonna run an inline fuse, and that's just because I want to. Came with 2 of these. Now, to argue the point, some people say you do need, some people say you don't. Whatever. This is only a couple bucks, so I just got it for the hell of it. In order to crimp these guys on, to crimp this on, Amazon had this tool. So basically you put one of the lugs inside, smack it with a hammer, and that locks it in. Yeah. Now this is solid copper core. This is not that aluminum stuff with the copper around it. This is solid copper core. So of course the solid copper ones, you are going to pay a lot more, but it's worth it, right? So let me measure out the positive side, get this hooked up, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a little bit. Alright, here's what it looks like. I crimped everything, put the heat shrinks on, and it's super, gosh. Yeah, you gotta wait for it to cool down a little. Anyway, where was I? So anyway, okay, next step, thread this thing through exactly where you want it to go. I'll just show you guys what that looks like real quick, and we'll get this alternator hooked up. Well, it's gonna rain, so I need to make this quick. I figure I might as well show you guys how I did the big 3. So once you get the gauge wire you want, this is a 4 gauge, you're gonna get your lug, measure out the distance that you're gonna cut back the shielding, so right about there. You don't want to cut too deep, you just want to cut right exactly where it needs to be. Don't put too much pressure. Okay, there you go. Solid copper core. We're gonna put this in. That's our heat shrink. something like that. So let me show you how I pound the tool. Super easy. All right, there you go. And this thing is not going anywhere. Put the heat shrink on. Grab your heating device, heat shrink it. Do the same to the opposite side. That's it. Let me finish all this up and I'll be right back again. Okay, so for the most part it's in, and this is what it looks like. And the big 3 wires are pretty much all done. The ground wire, I put some wire loom on it to hide it, make it look really pretty. It's starting to rain. I'm gonna zap all this on really quick off camera. I'll be back in just a little bit. So everything is sort of hooked up. I have the alternator hooked up. I have the big 3 wires hooked up. The only thing I do not have hooked up is the radiator hoses. But I figured let me check, make sure everything is working first before I even put those radiator hoses back on. So let me turn on the car, see if it's charging, and see if it works. Yeehaw, there we go, everything's working. Damn, this was freaking awesome. Okay, you know what? Let me put the radiator hoses back on, let me put everything back together, clean up, and I'll be right back. Okay, that is it. I am finished. The alternator is in. It's putting out about 14.5, 14.7 volts. So we are good for that. The silicone radiator hoses are in, top and bottom, so we are good with that. I did the big 3 upgrade, which is the ground strap from the engine block to the chassis way down there, then to the battery here. I also did the upgrade of the 4, these are both 4 gauge power wires, 4 gauge wires for the ground, 4 gauge wire, heavy duty wire for the power. The red output from the alternator going up here to this 250 amp fuse, then going straight to the battery. That is it. So now the electrical system can handle anything I throw at it. A link ECU, bigger injectors, a whole standalone power system for the stereo, the fuel pump. There's so much stuff that this thing can handle now. Best thing is I have a ton of extra wire. So I'm gonna change out all the wires on all my vehicles to this heavy 4 gauge wire. It'll be a good thing to do, so I may do a video on that, I don't know. Anyway, thanks everybody for sticking around. Thanks for taking a break from reality, getting away from this whole craziness that's going on in the world. It is crazy. I don't know what to say. Anyway, thanks for sticking around again. I hope this helps someone out there, and I'll see you guys again on my next project. Oh, one more thing. Thank you to Wayne Ramos, because without him, I would have never known about this idea. I would have never had the thought to do this. So thank you, Wayne. Again, I'll see you guys again on my next project.